Peace and light, y'all. Peace and light and love. Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody is in high vibration and everybody is in good health and not in sickness. And if you are in some type of sickness or going through some type of illness, having some type of illness, peace and light to you. Hope you get through your situation. Sending love and vibration your way and high vibes to you. Um, what I want to touch on today is kind of old, but like I said, I'm a truck driver. I'm always in my truck. I never really have the downtime to do a whole lot of the recordings that I want to, because when I'm on my downtime, I'm either talking to my kids or my wife, and then when I'm at home, it's the kids or the wife, you know. So just bear with me. I'm gonna find the balance with everything. But I wanted to talk about the situation that happened up in Baltimore with the so-called deadly mosquitoes that were dropped. It was like a parade or something, I believe. It was a parade that was taking place up in Baltimore, or some type of concert, excuse me, parade or concert. And people said that a helicopter released deadly mosquitoes. Um, and this was back in when, excuse me, this was a couple months ago. Um, but of course, you know, they were covering their tails, saying that nothing was dropped out of the airplane or the helicopter that flew overhead of the concert or parade. And if you know history with these individuals, you know that they will cause a problem and then they will come back and offer a solution. So you got to remember too, with the C-19, that they were they were not pretty much inoculating the number of individuals that they really wanted to. So they were gonna find so many different various ways, new age ways to get this C-19V to somebody. So me, as people call me, being a conspiracy theorist, as they say, I wanted to know a little bit more about it. Like, well, could it be some deadly mosquitoes? Could they have could they have bred these mosquitoes with some type of genetics, or could they have bred them with, some type of toxins or anything in them? And as soon as they bite, because we got West now, we got malaria that these insects, soon as they bite somebody, they transmit these different viruses and diseases, and they're carriers of it. So, what I did a little bit of research, and I ended up finding a patent with with mosquitoes that have been bred with some type of toxin, and it talks about how the males and the females differ and who have what and everything like that. So let me go ahead on and put my window capture on and read this to you all. It's not going to take long at all. Let's see. Let me drop this down. Pull this one up. So this is what I found here. I believe this is the actual patent number for it here, right here. Yep. U.S. patent number US 8967029B1. Date of patent March 3rd, 2015. United States Patent Calvert. And right here, this is the part: toxic mosquito aerial release system. Toxic mosquito aerial release system. Applicant T. Mars Associates, trustee for toxic mosquito aerial release system, CRT Trust. And this is located in Manassas, Virginia. The inventor of it, S. Mill Calvert. Everybody, we need to do some research, or I'll do the research on this individual, S. Mill Calvert. Manassas, Virginia. Assignee, T. Mars. Associates, Trustee for Toxic Mosquito Aerial Release System, CRT Trust. Notice, subject to any disclaimer, the term of this patent is extended or adjusted under 35 USC 154B by 0 days. They got this thing up under United States Code, huh? These are the patent documents. I guess these are the supporting documents. References. Yep. The references cited to support it. Let's check out this right here, the abstract. Primary examiner, Brett Hayes. Everybody always remember what Steve Coakley said. Remember the names, name the names, be the individual that talks about the names, and always follow the trail. Primary examiner, Brett Hayes. Attorney, agent, or firm, Luis Ventura Jr. A device for the aerial release of mosquitoes includes an unmanned aerial vehicle. Sorry about that. Let me cut that down. Once you get into something good, it always want to go off, right? A device for the aerial release of mosquitoes includes an unmanned aerial vehicle operable by remote control. It carries a container holding a central processing unit and a mosquito breeding bin, which is a self-contained volume housing mosquitoes and a mosquito food having a toxin. Listen to this, which is a self-contained volume housing mosquitoes and a mosquito food having a toxin suitable to be transmitted by mosquito bite after the mosquito consumes the mosquito food. So whatever it is that they're feeding them has some type of toxin. We don't know if it's a neurotoxin. We don't know if that toxin is C19. We don't know if that toxin is HIV, AIDS. We don't know if that toxin is malaria. We don't know what this toxin is, but they just have toxin. We're going to actually have to see what this toxin is that they're talking about, that once this mosquito bites, it transmits this actual toxin to the host that it is just fed on. So, food having a toxin suitable to be transmitted by mosquito bite after the mosquito consumes the mosquito food. A release tube is connected to the mosquito breeding bin and sized to release mosquitoes from the mosquito breeding bin. A valve is connected to the release tube and is operable by remote control, so that when opened, the mosquitoes have an open pathway out of the container through the release tube. Let's go down here and look at this. It says 3 claims, 1 drawing sheet. So, I was about to say I'm no artist. I'm an artist. I do a little drawing. Been drawing since I was a kid. But if they said a helicopter, there's so many different things. Some people said it was a helicopter. Some people said it was a airplane. I don't know. You know, technology now, and I wasn't there as well. I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on it. What I would love to do is get in contact with some individuals that were actually there and speak with them and, you know, really get an eyewitness account type situation about it. You know what I mean? But if people saw a helicopter or a plane, this would have been something like what they saw. Y'all tell me if I'm reaching, if I'm digging, or if, you know, I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together, because you never know. You never know. You can't put nothing past these individuals, man. So I guess this is the actual housing unit here. This is the actual housing unit that they were talking about it. up above. Um, this must be that release tube that once they eat this here, this food containing whatever toxin it is, I'm pretty sure they're going to tell us. But after they eat the toxin, or they have been up in this breeding bin, as they call it, this breeding bin, so they're multiplying, and multiplying and multiplying, and they're eating and eating and feeding off of this toxin here. The more they breed and the more they feed, that's the more of them that are coming into contact with this toxin. And they're going to eventually release all of these mosquitoes that have this toxin that can be transmitted through a bite. What is this toxin? And why would they even do something like this? These individuals are evil. You know, they're always talking about it's too many people on the earth, and they do different things for population control. They do things for control, period. Look at this shit. Unmanned aerial device. See, this look like a regular drone. This is like a regular drone right here. A regular unmanned drone. And ain't no telling what they did. Look at this thing though, man. Figure 2. Y'all remember the patent number US 8967029B1, March 3rd, 2015. Let's go back down here. Toxic mosquito aerial release system, technical field. Let's see how far this goes down. We're going to read this whole thing, y'all, and we'll be finished. We got a good grip to read. It's all right, though. I like to read. If anybody a bookworm like me. So it says technical field. In the field of aeronautics, disclosed is an aircraft having structure enabling aerial breeding and discharge of mosquitoes. Background art. Governments have sought after weapons that can be used to deliver chemicals, viral, and bacteriological substances for lethal and non-lethal administration to assembled masses of people. There go our answer right there. Let's read that shit one more time. Governments have sought after weapons that can be used to deliver chemicals, viral and bacteriological, there it goes, bacteriological, excuse me, y'all, substances for lethal and non-lethal administration to assembled masses of people. Non-lethal uses typically include peacekeeping operations. One second though, y'all. One second. Governments have sought after weapons that can be used to deliver chemicals, viral and bacteriological substances for lethal and non-lethal administration to assembled masses of people. And then right after that, they come and say non-lethal uses typically include peacekeeping operations. But why would the government, period, and now we all know why would they seek after weapons that can be used to deliver chemicals, viral and bacteriological? Sounds like biological warfare, chemical warfare. On who though? We all know. Non-lethal uses typically include peacekeeping operations for use in actions not considered military operations and against terrorists or state actors in war. In this sense, such weapons can be used to control both armed enemies and civilians. Listen to this one more time. In this sense, such weapons can be used to control both armed enemies and civilians, one and the same. Not all, and I'll be able to prove this to you with an executive order, that they consider their civilians enemies and combatants. Um, Not all uses of such weapons are prohibited by treaty. The present invention is capable of delivering lethal and non lethal toxins, including any agent that can be carried and administered by a mosquito. In the United States, lethal chemical weapons are regulated by the Convention of the Prohibition of the Development, Production, Stockpiling, and Use of Chemical Weapons, and on their destruction, which entered into force in 1997. This treaty is usually referred to as the Chemical Weapons Convention. It is an arms control treaty with 165 signatory countries, and it outlaws the production, stockpiling, and use of chemical weapons and their precursors. The treaty has been interpreted to allow the development of non-lethal chemicals such as comative and gastrointestinal convulsives when classified as a riot control agent. Listen to this. Additionally, non-lethal weapons involving comative agents having been studied for use by the United States Armed Forces. In the United States, lethal biological weapons are regulated by the Convention on the Prohibition of the Development, Production, and Stockpiling of Bacteriological, Biological, and Toxic Weapons, and on their destruction, usually referred to as biological weapons, referred to as the Biological Weapons Convention. This is a 1972 treaty banning the production of microbial and other biological agents or toxins and their means of delivery. This treaty has been interpreted not to apply to the biological agents or toxins themselves, but rather certain purposes for which they may be employed, which are prohibited. Thus, there are permitted purposes defined to include prophylactic, protective, and other peaceful purposes. The biological agents or toxins may not be retained in quantities to have no justification or which are inconsistent with the permitted purposes. In times of armed conflict and the pursuit of destroying an enemy, living organisms and infected materials derived from them have been used by state and non-state actors. For example, in 300 BC, the Greeks polluted the wells and drinking water supplies of their enemies. Listen to this. In 300 BC, the Greeks polluted the wells and drinking water supplies of their enemies with animal corpses. Other examples abound in history. In 184 BC, Hannibal's army sent snakes to the enemy led by King Emenes, don't know how to pronounce that, of Perganium, and achieved a victory in 1346. The Tartars catapulted bodies infected with plague into what is now Ukraine. In the 1500s, the Spanish conquistadors killed off the inhabitants of Central and South America with smallpox and measles. Not the inhabitants, the indigenous population. Not all of them though. We're still here, y'all. We're still here. And In the 1500s, Spanish conquistadors killed off the inhabitants of Central and South America with smallpox and measles. In the 1700s, British forces used blankets contaminated with smallpox to infect North American Indians in the early 1940s. The Japanese armed forces dropped bombs containing up to 15 million plague infected fleas on the Chinese of uh, Kex, Shun, something, and Ninghain. In the 1900s, in the 1990s, Shinoko in Japan attempted terrorism at least 10 times let's go up here, to use anthrax, botulinum, botulinum toxin. I think that's like the botulism. Uh, what is it? What is that called? I think that's like a type of food poison or something like that. But botulinum toxin, uh, Q fever agent, and Ebola virus in aerosol form. Damn, in aerosol form. And y'all too, forgive me with some of these words. These are words I'm just encountering. So, mm. uh, in excuse me, it looked like this individual was about to hit my truck. Um, it produced where was I at? Ebola virus in aerosol form. In 1995, Iraq confirmed that it had produced and deployed bombs, rockets, and aircraft sprays, tanks containing Bacillus anthracis or anthracis and botulinum toxin. Well known methods of toxin delivery include, oh my god, sorry y'all. Uh, Well-known methods of toxin delivery include dispersion affected by using an aerosol spray explosive and direct food or water contamination. Aerosol sprays were thought to be the most effective means of widespread dissemination because an infectious material could travel tens of miles in a inhalable particle size. However, factors like particle size of the agent, stability of the agent under this individual's okay, he's in there. Uh, Agent stability of the agent, the this something. Anyway, conditions and ultraviolet light, wind speed, wind direction, and atmospheric stability are known to alter the effectiveness of a delivery system. We're gonna go back and see what this word is right here. Desiccating, something like that. Desiccating conditions and ultraviolet light, wind speed, wind direction, and atmospheric stability are known to alter the effectiveness of a delivery system. Explosions to accomplish dispersion are likely to inactivate biological agents and therefore are not very effective in disseminating infectious materials. Contamination of water supplies generally requires an addition of an unrealistically large amount of biological agents to a city supply. And that is actually true. That is actually, well, not really true. Is kind of false and true at the same time, because in the little town where I live, these individuals, they put all different types of aerosols, all types of cleansers into this water, and they say they put it into the water to, if you actually look at it, it looks like how the well water used to look, that kind of brown creek water look. And they say they put all these different aerosols, all these different cleansing agents, cleaning properties into the water to turn it clear. They do that just to turn the water clear. But all of these agents, you can it can be so strong sometimes. You can smell the chlorine, you can smell the chemical, everything that they're putting in this water. And this is the same thing that we're cooking our food in, we're bathing our children in, we're bathing in, we're brushing our teeth in, and we're also not just cooking our food with it, we're ingesting it when we get to a point that we get thirsty. Then people always want to go talk about bottled water. We're getting the same source from the same individuals, because sometimes you can smell this stuff in bottled water as well. Bottled water can have a messed up pH level or a high pH level as well. It can be contaminated with chemicals and different solvents and solids that solids that are what's the word I'm looking for, like soluble in water. You really can't taste it. You know, some people, they can taste it, some people can smell it, some people can't smell it. But where are we at? I gotta go back up here and read that other part again though, man. Explosions to accomplish dispersion are likely to inactivate biological agents and therefore are not very effective in disseminating infectious materials. Contamination of water supplies generally requires an addition of an unrealistically large amount of biological agents to a city supply. And some of these agents in there, they also are carcinogenic. They had even sent us out a letter uh, 3, 4, 5 times talking about elevated levels of carcinogenic properties in the tap system, in the tap water. So basically, they was letting us know that the stuff or the cleaning agents that they use is poisonous, it's carcinogenic, it's cancerous, cancer causing. Less lethal toxins are sometimes described as neural inhibitors, gastrointestinal convulsives, neuropharmacological agents, calmative agents, and dissociative hallucinogens. Who the hell wants to be disassociated from reality? And they saying this is like his uh, unrealistically large amount of biological agents to a city supply. Listen to this. Less lethal. Less lethal toxins are sometimes described as neural inhibitors, gastrointestinal convulsives. If anything, all right, neural has something to do with your um your system as well, right? Your neural inhibitors, it might be blocking off something from your brain, period. You don't want that. You want your receptors to be beaming, to be firing off. Gastrointestinal, that's dealing with your stomach area, your that's dealing with your stomach area, your intestines and everything like that. Um, if anything happens in that area as well, it's talking about convulsives. If anything happens, you can have internal bleeding. You can have bleeding in places that you won't know about. You have your neuropharmacological agents, calmative agents. You don't want, man, listen to it. And then this disassociative. Who the hell wants to be disassociated from reality? Hallucinogens. Their delivery systems are designed for use against armed enemies, rioters, and groups of potentially hostile civilians. Listen to this. Their delivery systems are designed for use against armed enemies, rioters, and groups of potentially hostile civilians. Common agents include an array of psychoactive substances that induce sleep or create disabling hallucinations. An example is BZ3 quindicindyl benzylate or benzylate, a compound related to scopolamine, previously developed during the Cold War. Why he pull up with his loud truck? Uh, a device for the aerial release of mosquitoes includes an unmanned aerial vehicle operable by remote control. It carries a container, it carries a container holding a central processing unit and mosquito breeding bin, which is a self-contained volume housing mosquitoes and a mosquito food having a toxin suitable to be transmitted by mosquito bite after the mosquito consumes the mosquito food. A release tube is connected to the mosquito breeding bin and a size to release mosquitoes from the mosquito breeding bin. A valve is connected to release the tube and is operable by remote control so that when open, the mosquitoes have an open pathway out of the container. Through the release tube, When the unmanned aerial vehicle has a lifting blade, that has a downdraft, then the release tube is preferably of a length such that the mosquitoes released therefrom avoid the downdraft from the lifting blade. A compressed gas source may be used to encourage the release of the mosquitoes out of the release tube. A mosquito delivery system for lethal and non-lethal applications is not available. Really? If such a delivery system enabling legal, non-lethal uses were available, it could later be adapted for military use. Listen to this. They just told us that they got this shit. And then listen to this. A mosquito delivery system for lethal and non-lethal applications is not available. If such system enabling legal, non-lethal uses were available, it could later be adapted for military uses. Should legal restraints be altered or eliminated? For example, one unquestionably legal application of the toxic mosquito delivery system is immunization. Immunization. Huh? Are you immunized? Aren't they always asking this once you go to these hospitals and these doctors and everything? The toxic mosquito delivery system is immunization made possible by adding a toxin that is a genetically modified bacterium capable of activating a person's immune system to fight malaria to mosquitoes. Is it just malaria? Just malaria? Those contaminated mosquitoes could be aerially released to immunize at-risk populations against malaria. Do you hear this shit? Do you hear it? These contaminated let's go back up real fast. Real fast. The toxic mosquito, a mosquito delivery system for the lethal and non-lethal applications is not available. They're saying it's not available, but they got this whole damn thing is a whole plan, a whole drawn out map. But they say it's not available. They don't have it. They don't have it, right? But they got a whole plan and they telling us what they'll do with this shit, right? Delivery system is immunization made possible by adding a toxin that is a genetically modified bacterium capable of activating a person's immune system to fight malaria to mosquitoes. Those contaminated mosquitoes could be airily released to immunize at-risk populations against malaria. At-risk populations. So now they're inoculating and immunizing people against their will, right? Because you got some people, I know it's like Muslims, some Arabs, you got some people who are high in spirituality and they spiritual practices that they do not let family members or their children, or they don't get immunized, they don't get inoculated. But you see this plan here, like I was just talking about. What if they didn't succeed with their C-19 how they really wanted to? Not just malaria, not just malaria, right? Anything, anything. Remember, these are the same individuals that caused the problem and offer the solution. Now look at this big ass solution that they're doing right here. They're gonna come up with a way to get something, right? Just like they figured out a way to try to get all their money back with all those STEMI checks. Um, Immunize at-risk populations against malaria. Throughout military history, the health of one's troops has always been an important determining factor. So soldiers on the ground can properly function if they are not ill, sick, or dying from a deadly virus or pathogen. A soldier whose immune system is trying to fight a bug or pathogen will have no energy or ability to fight other soldiers. Sickness can be a very valuable military tool that can be more devastating than the most up-to-date military guns and equipment. Listen, well, back up here real fast. A soldier whose immune system is trying to fight a bug or pathogen will have no energy or ability to fight other soldiers. Sickness can be a very valuable military tool that can be more devastating than the most up-to-date military guns and equipment. Biological warfare is more powerful. A disease, a sickness, an illness is more powerful than a damn bullet. They can release this shit in the air. They can put it. They didn't already told you they could put it in your. They could put it in your drinking water. They already done that with so many different things. They have fluoride in the water to keep people at a docile state. You already know what that does to your pineal gland. It calcifies your pineal gland, keeps you from really opening your epiphysis. And the epiphysis is the pineal gland. That's what makes you get that aha moment. That you had an epiphany. You know, looking at this and hearing this, anybody who's reading this, you should be having that epiphany right now. You should be having that aha moment with this to actually see what these individuals are doing and see that they are not for you at all. That the most up-to-date military guns and equipment, since making the enemy troops sick is an important military objective, one must then look at what means are available to get pathogens, germs, and viruses. Listen to this. To get pathogens, germs, and viruses to the enemy in today's highly advanced military technology. There are various types of small robotic devices that can try to get sickness agents close to enemy troops. Even with all of the sophisticated computer chips and microprocessors, all of these high-tech devices cannot come close to the miraculous technology of nature. Nature has a very highly technical device that can not only carry a sickness agent to the area where the enemy may be located, but the devices can seek out and find the enemy, even if they are behind fortifications and are in hiding. This miracle of technology can carry a sickness agent covertly go to the enemy area, specifically find the individual enemy, and can contaminate the enemy with absolutely no warning. This ultra high-tech device of nature is called a mosquito. I'm pretty sure some people were listening to that. They're like, oh, the wind, they're going to put it out there in the air, let the air take it. They're already doing that with these so-called chemtrails and how they releasing all these different aerosols and these different solvents into the air. And ain't no telling what they're releasing into the air. I know they were releasing all types of different metals and everything too that was playing a part in weather modification and what they call, as they call it, global warming and all that other stuff, man, all they made up shit. Then two, they spray these things over the crops. Then two, we're breathing all of this stuff in. They have it on certain websites, but they're not going to put everything in totality up on these websites. I'm pretty sure it's more than what they're saying it is. Excuse me. But it can be a mosquito. It is the mosquito. The mosquito. That is crazy, man. Mosquito. This ultra high-tech device of nature is called a mosquito. If only there was a way for military planners to harvest and use the power of the mosquito, they could easily sicken and kill large masses of enemy troops without even a single shot being fired. Solution to the problem. The answer to aerial delivery of mosquitoes for medical purposes, or integrating military technology together with the power of the mosquito, has now been solved with the invention of the toxic mosquito aerial release system, TMARS. With this new technology, insects can now be more important than individual immunizations or than tanks or laser-guided bombs. The toxic mosquito aerial release system works by having a small RF-controlled drone that includes a flying mosquito breeding laboratory. All of the conditions are perfect for mosquitoes to be born, to eat, and become contaminated, and to safely evacuate the toxic mosquito aerial release system when it is flying above the targeted enemy. Swarms of mosquitoes will then fly down and bite the enemy. As the enemy swats at a mosquito that just bit him, he will not realize that this toxic mosquito bite is much more effective than a bullet. Man, advantages, effects of invention. This stuff, man, it makes you hot. Not only would they use it on an enemy, you saw also who they said they would use it on. They would use it on the masses. They would use it on civilians, their own civilians. So they're not just gonna, it's not gonna be in a riotous situation. It doesn't have to be a riot or to keep something calm and under control. They'll just do it. Because these megalomaniacs, they already believe that the earth is overpopulated and they want to get rid of a certain percent of individuals and keep a certain amount so they can continue to control and patrol. With the toxic mosquito aerial release system, large masses of people can be immunized, or enemy troops can now be wiped out or rendered useless without having the risk or endanger our own troops. The toxic mosquito aerial release system is extremely low cost and can easily accomplish what $1 billion in medical inventions and airstrikes cannot do. The mosquitoes in the toxic mosquito aerial release system can be contaminated with various types of genetically altered bacteria to activate the immune system, or contaminated with toxic sickness agents depending on the objectives. For military purposes, the mosquitoes may be used to deliver an agent such as malaria to create sickness, or they could use much more toxic or highly contagious agents and viruses. A highly contagious virus could wipe out 100% of the enemy troops, because the ones that did not get bitten will be contaminated by their fellow soldiers. The toxic mosquito aerial release system is a new and needed technology. It is a way to It is a way to add administrative, curative, or immunological injection to administer combative agents or to administer deadly disease to wipe out and disable the enemy at a minimal cost for use in conflict. There is no longer the need to spend countless billions of dollars and to destroy entire areas with bombing and to wound or sacrifice our bravest and finest soldiers. When it comes down to the hell of war or the miraculous, beautiful technology of a mosquito, the choice will be easy to make. Listen to that, man. Oh man. Oh man. Do y'all remember the individual who said the people do not understand or yet know the evil that has been introduced into their midst? Do y'all know who stated that? It was a statement made by Mr. COINTELPRO himself. Oh man. Brief description of drawings. Please explain that. The drawings illustrate preferred embodiments of the toxic mosquito aerial release system. According to disclosure, the reference numbers in the drawings are used consistently throughout. So they're talking about figure one. Figure one is a side elevation view of the toxic mosquito or the TMARS aerial release system using a helicopter drone. Figure 2 is a perspective of a second embodiment of the toxic mosquito aerial release system using a four-bladed drone. Let's go back up here real fast. Four-bladed drone, then the helicopter drone. What if they did? What, the people said it was either a helicopter or a plane. What if it wasn't an actual drone like they're saying? What if it? Description of embodiments. In the following description, reference is made to the accompanying drawings, which form a part hereof and which illustrate several embodiments of the present invention. The drawings and the preferred embodiments of the inventions are presented with understanding that the present invention is susceptible of embodiments in many different forms, and therefore other embodiments may be utilized and structural operational changes may be made without departing from the scope of the present invention. So basically now it's just talking about the unmanned, it's talking about the container and the processing unit, the breeding bin, and let's see, unmanned may also be referred to as a drone, a pilotless aircraft, and unpiloted aerial vehicle. Man, so this shit is crazy. The mosquito breeding bin is an enclosed compartment within the container. The mosquito breeding bin defines a self-contained volume housing the mosquitoes and allowing them to breed and feed in a confined space. So which ones is it? Is it the females that suck the blood? Is it the females? They always say it's the I believe both of them suck the blood. They host on the blood. They find the host. They always try to say it's the female that sucks on the blood. The central processing unit is held by the container. The central processing unit is a hardware within a computer that carries out the instructions of a computer program by performing the basic arithmetical, logical control and input output operations of the system. It is the means to automate functions of the device in lifting off and releasing the mosquitoes when conditions warrant or when so instructed by the remote pilot. The central processing unit is either within the container or attached to it. The important criterion is the central processing unit moves in unison with, oh my God, excuse me, y'all. Thought I had cut that down. You got Jake breaks going off. You got my phone going off. Oh man. 1 second, y'all. That was my other phone I had to cut off. Let's see. Okay. The mosquito food is housed within the mosquito breeding bin, preferably so that it is continuously available to the mosquitoes to consume. Alternatively, the mosquito food may be confined within its own box so that it may be made available to the mosquitoes an appropriate period of time prior to release. Such control can be provided by appropriate operating instructions from the central processing unit, the CPU, the computer. The toxin is within the mosquito food. The term toxin is used herein to mean any chemical, biological component, bacterium, virus, immunological agent. Remember, immunological agent is something that people can be immunized with. Immunization, immunological. So remember when they were trying to get these people to take all of these C-19 vaxes or the vac, you had they were splitting people up between the vaxxers and anti-vaxxers. They always try to make a divide and conquer situation about it. And that's an art of war tactic as well. So do not let stuff like this divide you up when you actually see who the actual assailant is. The actual assailant, the actual enemy. The actual enemy is. Um this may have been just another way for them to get the people who were anti-vax and mess around and get them vaxxed as well. You know how these individuals work. They have to tell you exactly what they're doing. They have to tell you their plans, but you have to be. It was an individual that said we're in the most illiterate country because people will have books and have everything in front of them. They will have the information in front of them and will not look it up, will not research it. We have the tools. We have the tools of research. We're in the technological age where we have internet. We're in the age of internet, the age of technology, where people will continue to look up shoes, people will look up porn, people will look up glasses, hats, fashion, all the new trends. They're competing in all of the new trends on TikTok. They're taking millions of selfies of them damn selves, thousands of selfies of themselves, posting it. They'll see something that has some conscious aspects about it, or some aspects trying to make you informed and aware to what's going on around you. And an individual will look at it, may like it, might not like it, and they will continue to go on. This is what has to stop. We've been so desensitized as a nation, where now people are holding out their phones, recording everything. I mean, every damn thing. They're watching people get hit. They're watching people get shot. They're watching people get robbed. They're watching people get hurt. They're watching. It's so many. It's so much, and people are just sitting there recording it. They're recording it. This is. It's just no more feeling. They are desensitized, And the more desensitized people get in this system, the more the more they will be able to um the more they will continue to let their agenda come to pass. Um so everybody just, just be aware, stay high vibed up, stay prayed up. Um Warn yourself on a daily basis. Pray to yourself, pray to the Most High, pray to the Creator. Meditate. Pray for the world, man. Pray for the state of the world as well. Meditate on the state of the world. We got to get into this love frequency. We got to stay in this love frequency, because at the end, love conquers all. You can tell with this is just a hate. This is just a hate situation. It's something dark. It's something demonic. These megalomaniacs. Um, it's on a spiritual basis. It's on planes that we cannot see with the human eye, but with the spiritual eyes you can see. It's things taking place on higher levels, spiritual levels, and spiritual places. Um, so everybody just continue to be aware, do research, keep yourself informed, keep your family informed. I don't mean to keep on rambling on like that, but sometimes, everybody just gotta, and it's not me reminding everyone, it's me reminding myself as well, because I can get busy and slip up. But at the same time, it's always good to, you know, stay focused, be focused, and be in tune. So that way, if something actually happens, you're already prepared. Okay. Um, where were we at? The toxin, which is within the mosquito food. The term toxin is used herein to mean any chemical. Right here, 145, 140 in between here. To mean any chemical, biological component, bacterium, virus, immunological agent, or other material having an influence on humans and being capable of delivery and transmission to humans via mosquito bite. The toxin must be suitable to be transmitted by mosquito bite after the mosquito consumes the mosquito food. An example is genetically modified or a weakened malaria parasite altered or combined with hepatitis B virus to trigger an immune response in a human population to protect that population from contracting malaria. What about the hepatitis? Another example is malaria parasite itself to cause malaria. The release tube is connected to the mosquito breeding bin so as to provide a pathway for mosquitoes to exit the mosquito breeding bin into the air outside the container. Thus, the release tube is sized to release mosquitoes from the mosquito breeding bin. The valve, is connected to the release tube so that it can close off the exit pathway or operate it for release of the mosquitoes. The valve is controlled by the central processing unit, the CPU, and operable by remote, so that when open, the mosquitoes have an open pathway out of the container through the release tube. The unmanned aerial vehicle is one preferred embodiment. Includes a lifting blade or propeller that rotates to cause a downdraft when lifting the device, or unmanned aerial vehicle. For this embodiment, the release tube has a length such as the mosquitoes released therefrom avoid the downdraft from the lifting blade. This shit is real. The mosquito food housed within the mosquito breeding bin, a toxin within the mosquito food. A release tube connected is putting it all in order how it would go. That is crazy. That's what I wanted to read out to y'all. And this is the patent. Again, this is the patent. This one, it was patented. These are references. These are supporting documents going into it as well. These are some of the names of individuals. Some of the names of individuals. It's crazy. So what if everything isn't how we were told it is? You know, you remember when your parents told you about the tooth fairy, when they told you about Santa Claus, everything like that, and you never could find it, you never could see it, never experienced it, made up things. What if it's another thing out here as well, wants you, an entity that wants you to believe that it's made up and is not real, putting on a facade to make you think that it doesn't exist, and it's existing here, is showing that it's existing here through laws, through regulations, through the actions of politicians, through the actions of the state, Congress, everything. Are you able to see it? Have eyes that see and ears that hear. Peace, love, and light, y'all. Each one teach one coalition. Y'all add on to y'all add on to the research. We all do our own due diligence. And that's why I say each one teach one. The message will reach somebody, and from it reaching another individual, they will teach another individual. It's an ongoing process. I wasn't I wasn't always like this myself. I wasn't deep into reading or heavy into reading. I always like to read, but I always like to read certain things, certain genres of books. Now I catch myself liking to read Britannicas. I find myself looking at orthography, etymology. I always love poetry. I always love poetry. But there's so many different things, man, that's out here that we have to bring the light. We have to shed light on. We have to lift the veil off of it. We have to continue to lift the veil off of it. We'll conquer this evil with love and light. We'll conquer this evil with love and light. We don't have to we don't have to stoop. We don't have to do what the enemy is already doing. But I'm not gonna go too far into that. Peace and light, y'all. We'll do it another way. We'll use love as our tool, and we'll use our minds